Alright growers, as you can see, summer has become the past now. As you can see, the garden has officially died for the season. So now it is officially October now. That means today we are going to talk about the 13 different vegetables that you can still grow in October right before the frost begins. Alright, crop number one is that you must plant in October before the frost comes, and that is your wonderful garlic. And you're probably saying you probably still have time, but technically you really don't have time to still plant like garlic later, like say in November. By November, you'll probably experience your first frost, and you want to get the garlic obviously in the ground before the cold weather actually starts. And the reason why you want to plant your garlic now is just because that will be in the ground from say October or September to all the way to like May or early April, if it's like good enough. And if you watch the channel in the summertime, you'll see exactly what I mean by when it's good to harvest. But if this is your first time planting garlic, all you have to do is dig a little hole in the ground about like maybe three or 4 inches deep, and then space them about like 6 inches apart from each other, and then obviously cover them up with some leaves or some whatever mulch you have around. Leaves for me work the best, and that's pretty much all what I did in the fall, so it's pretty easy to grow. Alright, the next crop is pretty much the exact same way to plant garlic, but instead of garlic we're going to use onions. As you can see, you can either start from bulbs or onions, which in my experiment you probably want to also use the actual bulb, since it's a lot easier to see when they're done actually growing. But with garlic, you want to plant them about like maybe 6 inches apart from each other and about 3 inches deep into the ground as well. But for onions, they do take a little longer to grow, since they're just a little slower growing vegetable compared to garlic. Alright, next vegetable is not carrots, but the next one is spinach. And this one is really easy to grow once you have it actually growing correctly, because they especially like the cold, and they also taste pretty wonderful in the winter as well. But for growing spinach, you want to bury them about a ½ inch deep off the ground, and then about maybe once they sprout, try to space them about maybe 2 inches or so apart from them, or you can also just plant them in rows as well. And the reason why you want to plant them in the ground rather than like transplanting them is obviously they don't like being transplanted. So if you disturb even the tiniest root, the entire plant will just die. And now, since it is finally cooler weather now, before you couldn't grow this just because of the hot weather that we had during the summer, but now you can, and that is lettuce, and that is wonderful in the garden to have all winter long. And the reason why it's so wonderful is because it grows super fast. Once it starts to sprout, it'll keep on growing and growing, probably until the season kills it, or once you just harvest it completely. But if you do want to grow these wonderful carrots, yes, you can grow these wonderful carrots out through the winter time, but you want to harvest them. If you grow them into the winter, into the summer, you want to be careful for them not to start to go to seed. As you can see, I think the weather is kind of warming up, kind of not really, and as you can see, this one is about to have some seeds, so this guy should definitely be ready to harvest. In fact, I think he is a monster carrot underneath, but it's pretty cool too. As you can see right here, the other carrots are starting to form, so might have to replant these carrots since they grow pretty darn fast. But carrots can be extremely tricky, so that's why just because they're so tricky in the beginning, because they require the entire soil to be completely moist at all times, and if it's even dry for a day, they won't sprout, so they need as much as water as possible in order to sprout, usually a week. Now for this vegetable, this one is my personal favorite one and kind of excited to actually grow this year, and it is some wonderful broccoli. As you can see, I'm slowly adapting it to the outdoor condition, so when they are planted into the ground, they don't immediately die or shocked. Now for broccoli, I'm mainly excited to grow this just because it'll be in the middle of winter time, and most of the pests that you will see in the summertime will obviously be gone and dead. But if you are growing broccoli for the first time like me, you want to space these guys about maybe 18 inches apart from each other, since these guys do eventually get pretty big, hopefully.
Next crop is cabbage. Plant them about 12 to 18 inches apart, and they love cold weather. For bigger heads of cabbage, space them more apart to get buried.
Go.
Next up is beets. You want to plant them 2 inches apart from the other beets. They just grow like carrots.
So they're super easy.
They're super easy
to grow.
Oh. Next up is peas. You can grow them in fall or spring, but they are slow growing space about 2 inches apart. Next up is turnips. Fast growing, plant 1/2 inches deep, can eat great for salads. You can plant them in the winter time or the fall time, and they can handle frost, the cold. They will be ready in 40 to 60 days.
You guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.
Keep on growing.